When the partition of Africa, also known as Berlin Conference, was taking place, and Africa's resources and land were shared amongst themselves, everyone else was on the table, except Africa. They even shared a part of Africa to an individual, a Belgian king called King Leopold, who in turn cut off the hands of millions in that population of what is known today as DR Congo. Africa has seen a lot, been through a lot, and suffered a lot in the hands of the West. And if you won't leave Africa alone, at least I think it is time the West gives Africa some respect. Hello and welcome to Direct on the Spot, the show where we hit it hard and hot on matters of concern that shape and affect our daily lives. I am your host, Chinedu, and as always, we say no to every form of discrimination and disrespect. We say the truth without fear or favor. We are always 100% on target. We don't miss. This is about the recent remarks, the recent back and forth, Elon Musk using his Twitter handle to call out African leaders, to call out Africa in reference at Africa and the goings on in that country. South Africa has been, virtually in the news for a long time for xenophobia and ill treatment of Africans. I never even knew that white South Africans also complain, because Elon Musk is using his platform X to call out black South Africans of treating the whites differently, trying to take away their lands and discriminating against them. Racism. That's what he's doing. And bringing up videos he did, which I will play for you right now, of Julius Malema singing a popular song in South Africa among the blacks.
The farmer, brr, pa, brr, pa. Attention.
South Africans do not segregate when it comes to protecting their land. They are fighting everybody, both the blacks, both the whites, both the Zimbabweans, both the Mozambicans, both Nigerians, both Zambians. Everybody is an enemy. Everybody's a target. So I don't see why Donald Trump would have singled out the whites alone. Perhaps the whites, are being championed by Elon Musk, because Elon Musk is an ethnic South African by birth. So he has been the one lobbying Donald Trump for all this propaganda, trying to see how they can get South Africa to twist them into all this. And South Africa also would have seen it coming, because for some time now, they've also been courting danger by supporting, Palestine. And in another way, Hamas, supporting Palestine, siding with other countries of that enemies of USA over the time during the last regime of Joe Biden. So South Africa have made it very clear their stand. They stand with Palestine against anything apartheid, against anything discrimination. They are fighting the same way they fought their own, imperialists. That's how they are supporting Palestinians against Israel. And this is the part where Donald Trump waited his time, waited until he took over power. So where we are now is at the crossroads where Donald Trump is trying to take back his pound of flesh. Israel are saying, look, South Africa were not supporting us. They were supporting Palestine. You see somebody like Netanyahu of Israel talking to Donald Trump, lobbying him against South Africa. You see Elon Musk, one of his biggest supporters, lobbying him against South Africa. So it's difficult for Donald Trump to ignore, because when you have two powerful people around you, beside you, who are your friends, who are people that are your allies, key allies, talking about that same particular South Africa, that particular thing, his arms are tied. He has to do something. He has to, even if he doesn't want to get involved, but he has to, because these matters may be very important to them at that moment in time. So I understand why Donald Trump actually had to wield that big stick of doing those things he did, of the sanctions against South Africa, and even threatening more sanctions, against South Africa, because it's politics to me. I don't see Donald Trump as having any interest in South Africa. I see it as politics. Elon Musk has interest. Netanyahu has payback. Payback. You do me, I do you. So Netanyahu is, anything that will destroy South Africa, bring it down, Netanyahu is for it. Anything that will cause a change of government, so for the whites to take over South Africa, or for South African whites to own their own lands and not be living in threat or in fear, Elon Musk is for it. Donald Trump even went as far as trying to relocate the whites. And I ask myself, why do we still live in a divisive world where it's all about race? Doesn't Elon Musk know that there are some blacks who are suffering and need to also be relocated to America? There are whites, there are blacks in Africa who also need to be relocated. You're offering these white people visa. Well, I always tell Africans, do you see how the whites protect themselves? Do you see how the whites protect themselves? There is no harm. Just do it for yourself. Simple. Look at, you are discriminating against a white man. His fellow white man has opened his country up for them to come. That's how it should be. Africans, stay strong together. Unite together. That aside, South Africa, we always told you, mostly the blacks, you have to open up your arms to your fellow blacks. You have to open arms, because at the end of the day, when anything happens, the color of your skin is what matters. It is those blacks that will fight for you. People do not know who is Zimbabwe, who is from Mozambique, who is from Nigeria. Once they see a black, it's a black. So you must hold your brothers. They are the ones that will save you. That's why I like Julius Malema any day. And that's why I'm here, saying it to your face. Julius Malema needs to be protected by all means. I am not South African, but I am African. And Julius Malema has always stood for black Africans. He has never hidden his voice. He has never been shy enough to speak for Africa. That song, they said he sang on a rally. If you look very well, you will see the whole stadium was chanting that same song. That should tell you, that song is like an anthem, an apartheid anthem during the apartheid regime, what they sang as motivation for defense during when they were slaughtered, when they were discriminated against, when they were killed on the streets of Soweto. So that song served as a motivation during the time of war against apartheid. And I did a little research and I found out that even Mandela, the beloved son of the whites, the beloved son of the West, sang that song. He sang it. He sings it every day. Even white South Africans sing this same song. So the song is not even about anything to kill. The song is just a song that has come to stay. The song is just a song that has come to stay. Maybe in the past, it was allowed because it was a song of war. But now, it's a song that brings people together, that unites the country, that unites the people in their struggle. So let us not pretend that we are trying to scapegoat a man with propaganda. I don't like the fact that Elon Musk has been using his X platform to spread propaganda against certain classes of people. This time around, it is Julius Malema, South Africa. I'm not going to say because South Africa has been, having issues with Nigeria, I will now start saying that I want to support this kind of injustice and racism against blacks. Whatever problem that South Africa has with Africans is a family affair. This is time to stand for South Africa. It's time to stand for Cyril Ramaphosa. It's time to stand for the blacks. It's time to stand for Julius Malema and any other person who is being singled out for slaughter. Now they're talking about, sanctions against Malema. Sanctions against Malema for what? What did he do? See, hate speech, racist chants and comments, are not good anywhere. But in what context are you singling him out for? Because if we start going down this lane, there are a lot of white people that should be in prison, that should have gone to The Hague to try out for war crimes. People have died for this matter. Stop stirring up this hate in South Africa. Stop stirring up divisions in South Africa. Elon Musk, you are from South Africa. You should be fighting for peace in that country. Now, what you're doing now is causing division in that country. You are pitting blacks against whites. And Malema is talking about equality. And no one is addressing that. No one. Well, this agenda is dead on arrival. But except you want to silence him out of this world, you cannot stop Julius Malema from speaking truth to power. I will only say, if there's any way speech he makes inciting violence against classes of people, I think he should stop that. But you can't take away anything from this man. It's high time we stop demonizing black people. It's high time the West stop demonizing black people. It's high time the West, the third time I'm saying it, demonizing black people. Because when Africa was being shared among themselves, no black man was on the table. Africa has been pillaged to raise skyscrapers in the West. Give Africa some respect. Stay away from our matters. Stay away from African matters. Let Africa be. Africa unite. South Africa, emancipate yourself from xenophobia. Julius Malema, God bless you. You're a great man. For speaking up for Africa, for speaking up for Nigeria, for speaking up for the world, you're a great man. One love, Africa. One love.